Today's progress. There's the dash. Not too bad, not too bad. Got the airbag out. There is the dash out of the little Colorado. A little tired today. What do we got here? That's a piece of the dash. Any of the stuff you see, guys, you know, for a donation, I'll send it out if you want to pay the shipping. Be part of the project, not part of the problem. We got to clean up a little bit. Got some mouse poopy. Right here's where we're going to be at, right in there. Now, you know, you could go in here, rip and tearing stuff out or whatever, just yank it. We're going to try to put it back with a little bit of finesse. Drive-by wire, well, you know, I really don't like that. So we're going to try to do something different. But it's hard to tell what you pull apart on this thing. It came from Ohio. So, nothing has changed, really. It rained for 3 or 4 days. We had to take a break. I've been tired, too, you know. Having problems with people or whatever. Hopefully we can figure it out. Threaten to be sued. Whatever it is. I didn't do nothing wrong. But, we're just gonna whatever on this. You know, if you're my neighbor, you could just come down here and talk to me. I'm pretty laid back. I don't get excited. Dash is out. Nothing's changed up front. You know, right there's where we're gonna be at. I'm repeating myself a lot. We're making some videos. But right in there, if you look right in there, that's kind of where the dip down is. Let's go in here and look at this dip down and see exactly what it is. I'm going to try to link a few of these videos together, and like at the end of the year, I'll try to, if I can get it to go to like a SD card, if I can download all the videos, and then I'll edit it out. If I can figure it out. You know, I'm not the smartest person in the world. I might be able to force gump my way through it and put something together. It's not so laborious to watch, you know. A lot of talking, people want to see you doing something. I don't have a way to set up a camera and record to where if I had like a external hard drive or something, I think you can link this phone to it and then record, then edit it all out. You know, I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But if we're going to be like right in here with our whatever, you know, that looks like they put that together when they welded it in. I don't know how you would get that out without tearing it up. Yeah, they welded that in. It ain't got no bolts or nothing. You know, that'd be hard to fix. But right there you are. It's right there behind the heater box, so you can definitely tell somebody's worked on one of these. They tear that little piece. You know they've been in there. They must weld that in there. I don't know how they do that. Oh, it probably wiggles up through here somehow. Yeah, it does. We tore it up for no reason. Yeah, man. Make me look like a cobbler here. We just want to look at it. I don't care. We're going to be cutting on this thing a little bit. And a lot of this ain't going to be in there. I might put some of it back, but a lot of it ain't going to be in there. You can see right there is like a wiring harness or something. Whatever it is, we'll have to figure out all that. I got to vacuum that up. I don't want to breathe that stuff. That mouse poop is pretty foul. So we'll get her mess cleaned up, vacuum it up, something. We'll pull this crossbar all the way out. You know, like I say, we'll probably take that weather wiring harness, lay it across here, and figure out where it's going to come out by the steering column. And then, like I say, we can use a Prius. All it's got to have is like a 12-volt supplied wire whenever the key comes on. Maybe eventually. That's a big maybe, you know. I don't know how hard that would be to get pieces made to make it all work. You know, it ain't got to be perfect or nothing, but still, it's going to have to be drill a hole, put it in a lathe, take a bore bar, cut it out, and put it together and weld it in, and then mount it up and run 12 volts to it from the key on switch. That's saying a lot, okay? Now we'll leave the dash out of this, and we can. You know, look at that. We can leave that dash out when we put the steering column in here. Get our key from our other PCM, ECU, whatever you want to call it. Now, on this heater box and stuff, like, you couldn't put that heater box out of that car in here. Look how low that is. Look how small that is. And like I say, these are cables. So it just opens up the doors and stuff. See there? So, I mean, technically, you could just put you something in there and turn it. You know, you turn that box, it's going to open it one way or the other. So, it's got a little bit of junk in it, but if you turn that box, however you do it, you hit turn it, vacuum it, whatever. And then, I think that other, it's got 2 cables, I think, or it did have. I think the other one came out of it. I don't know. Right there's... It just must be for the switchover box. I don't know. Whatever it is, we'll have to cut that out and fiberglass it. You know, no big deal. Right here's the... I don't know. That's just electronic. So you may have to key something on to... whatever. I thought it had 2 cables, and I'm pretty sure it did. I don't know what that other cable would do. Oh, here it is. Oh, man, it'd been snake and bit me. Right here it is. Now this, it works. Yeah, that's what it does. It opens that heater box. You know, if you want some heat out of it, I'm sure you can make something work there. It still works really good. What is that, mouse poo-poo? What do we got in there? What is that? I don't know what that is. But anywho, it looks like it got a little filter over it right there. I don't know if you can take that filter out or... I don't know. I ain't trying to tear it up. But we'll probably have to trim the back of it off as long as it works. The heater controls should be that evap should be like right here. You know, that's why you got this box here. That's going to close it and open it for the heat. But then you just got a this electronic box opens up for the fan to blow. We could jerry rig something like that up. That's not a big deal. As long as we get some heat, you know, you need something to defrost the windows. But that's today's progress. I got to get in here clean. Just ain't felt real good last few days. It rained so much, couldn't do nothing. So you got to get your up and movement. My back has been killing me. It rained. I was like, oh, a crybaby. So we'll just keep plugging along here. Like I say, if you see one of these little doodads, doohickeys, whatever. You know, we got that piece right there. We got the transmission pieces, the hole we cut out in the bell housing. I got the templates we've made. Obviously, we got to get this the rest of the way out. Once this is out, we can focus on. I'll get this air box out, and then we can cut this firewall and see what exactly it's going to be to get that motor all the way together. It's like, you know, it's it's there, okay? We'll poke some holes, get it tightened up, cut it, get it to where we pick it up once again, and then, you know, figure out motor mounts. Figured out a way to put it to be electric power steering. It's power assist. You know, it's better than nothing. And we'll have to put a manual rack on it and a shorter belt. Now for the AC, you know, if you can hook up a compressor and hook its line up to this evaporator, they make a kit. It's like a universal job. You just got to have an electric AC compressor. It just needs something that can turn a pump. How that works, don't ask me. I don't know. I know guys that can rig up something, but it would have to have a belt to turn it. like if you could put the AC compressor over there, a smaller AC compressor that'll fit, and then we can use like either a van brake booster or a Geo Metro brake booster, so we got more room just in case we've got to stick that wiring harness through there somehow. Going to take the complete wiring harness out. We'll have to get the whole interior. We'll have to use the wiring harness and tap in on these door switches or whatever it takes to make it roll up and down. Now I do know like some of those door switches got like a brain box or something. You know, if we can find wiring schematics or whatever, I'll try to make it all work. If nothing else, we'll put crank windows in it. I'd rather have crank windows anyhow. You know, all you got to do is all you got to do, it's a lot. You got to get door panels, and then you got to just get the crank, and then whatever it takes to make all that beautiful. It just keeps it from having problems. A crank window, you'll wear it out before it ever tears up. You know what I mean? It'd be a lot to do. Or just put like a crank window on the two doors here. You know, find something in a junkyard. You know, every time I stop in there anymore or anywhere, it's just like, you know, they want a lot more of their parts. So you can buy it for as cheap as they want to price it. Oh man, I could buy the door panels and all that for the same money, brand new. Well, you just do what you got to do. So they're kind of, excuse me, they're holding their ground on it. Heck, that crossbar is almost out there. I think it might have a bolt or two in it somewhere. I don't see nothing, but we get that crossbar out, and then we can get the heater box off. We got all the lines unhooked, obviously. Pull that last little bit out, pull that gas pedal out, get it out of the way. And then, like I say, we may have to put a Geo Metro brake booster on it. I don't know. Might be able to use one out of the car. It might be a little bit smaller. So, depending on how it works, you know, I don't want to hook that pedal rack up and all that jazz. But if we got to, we will. We're just taking our time here. But that's today's progress. Got the dash out. Slowly picking it apart. We got to clean up a little bit, and then we can move to the next process. Once we get all that out, we'll start cutting her up. And we'll have to run the complete wiring harness. And like I say, you know, you can just see where this brake booster is. There's just not much room because you got that right there too. You know, the ABS is not going to work, but it'll have power brakes, if you catch my drift. Now we can't take that block off of the car and use that block on these lines. You know, all it has is front and back lines, but it's got an ABS pump to where it's like when you hit the brakes, it'll push your foot off. You know, it keeps from skidding. But with that car right there, I want something when I hit the brakes, it's going to stop. Now, if it has traction control and it has electric brakes and all that, now it does work better. Like you can go down a hill and it ain't going to slide. You can go up something and it ain't going to spin. But, you know, it'll cut out power. You know, it's got like a limited, like a traction control, cuts out the fuel. Try to go up something and you need to go up it, it won't go. You know, it'll, like straight tracking, like if you're going and it's ice, yeah, it'll kick that traction control in there. You'll keep going. You'll go when other people can't. You know what I mean? I've been there with the Jeep, and I was like, wow, you know, I was going when other people couldn't, but you know, do you really want to be that far out when nobody else can be there? Just saying. So, that's one of the things you run into. Well, yeah, I got all the way out here and nobody can get out here to me. You know, and you're kind of stuck yourself. So, that's today.